The challenge to any foreign interpretation is the ability to place your notions aside and travel outside your perspective and face adventure in another realm of thought. We must examine historical context in order to adequately assess hermeneutics through the traditional Chinese experience. Confucians during the 2nd century BC were diverse and somewhat divided, and were beginning to take hold of Chinese politics. Emperor Wu of Han in 100 BC had restricted Confucian scholarship to mastering the interpretation of the 5 classics as to unify political thought. Confucianism had become the official state orthodoxy, while non-Confucian ideas were shunned from politics. Yet with the historical background of various Confucian interpretations, the 5 classics became a flexible lens for convenient interpretation. Confucian thinkers each shared the understandings of the text, yet their interpretations were based off of different philosophies and their own perspectives. As time progressed, Confucianism's various philosophies became institutionalized. Confucian orthodoxy proclaimed that the meaning was hidden within the text itself. In fact, many scholars who passed the exams at a particular period were merely scholars who demonstrated the in vogue interpretations of the classics, leaving the other interpretations to hair split and find fresh new insights into the classics. Through the annals of time, we progress into the age of neo-Confucianism. As Confucian orthodox began to grow stale and redundant, neo-Confucianism signified the reappearance of Confucian ideals fused with various elements from Taoism and Buddhism. The Confucian philosopher Zhu Xi was bound by the practical side of Confucianism, but attracted to the higher moral standards of Buddhism and the connection within the cosmos in Taoism. It is important to mention that during this intellectual period, the interpretation of the 5 classics and the 4 books were finally perceived in that their true meaning was not necessarily hidden within the text. To Neo-Confucians, the meaning was hidden in each way the individual would perceive the text. What can be interpreted from this intellectual openness is that in the Song Dynasty, there was a need to open perspectives and create a dialogue with other perceptions. There is no doubt that literature from the Song period, as well as the refined Ming, followed in the trend of openness. Jinping Mei is an open work of art. His realism predates the French naturalism literature movement by 400 years. A natural work means that it consists of determining the underlying forces of its characters and their choices. Every choice an individual makes has foreseen or unforeseen consequences to the individual's future. This realistic approach personifies the complexities of a human life. The multifaceted naturalism is only one of many variations of this open text. However, we cannot stop at naturalism to define Jinping Mei. There are many flares of supernaturalism. The author conducts a main theme that human downfall is inevitable, and that stars have decided matters. Nevertheless, it cannot be assumed that stargazer Liu's black magic directly affected the course of events, and neither can it be assumed that it is irony. But we can see that it mostly concerns with realistic reactions to realistic human decisions. The following passage is an example of the naturalism as a recurring theme. As the sun sinks amid the western hills, the moon rises in the east. Even the span of 100 years is like a wind-blown tumbleweed. Before one knows it, the red-cheeked lad one so admires, in the twinkling of an eye, turns into a white-haired gentleman. Do not waste the fullness of your youth, so quickly does it pass. Even heaven-scaling wealth and success are evanescent as clouds. One might as well seek to divert oneself among the scarlet skirts, hugging the turquoise and cuddling the red, in houses of pleasure. This passage could also have larger significance. The sun rises and sets could be interpreted as the dynastic circle. The author is also implying, because we stay young in only a small part of our lives, we want to spend our short time on earth living in pleasure. This obviously satirical passage tells us a neo-Confucian philosophy. An individual has a choice in his life to continue the dynastic circle, or frivolously waste a life with instant gratification. From the Han Dynasty stages of interpretation to the Ming literature, we see a progressive change of literary openness. Over time, the interpretation of the Confucian classics became liberated, and literature gained fresh insights into new perspectives with the fusion of Taoism and Buddhism into Confucian doctrine. However, with this progressive synthesis, the literature of the Ming Dynasty displayed a staunchly realistic and conservative commentary to the repercussions of human choices.